Beloved listeners, I want to start this conversation with a simple question. What do you think is the most important factor in achieving success? Many people will tell you it's there's talent, that some are born with the natural ability to excel in their field, be it finance, business, or any other pursuit. Some might tell you it's thus is luck, that they were simply in the right place at the right time with the right connections. And yes, there are those who believe it's all about the ear's big ideas, the creative breakthroughs that set people apart. But if we're being truly honest with ourselves, the most important qualities in life and business are not talent, luck, or ideas. They are Zera's integrity and Usher's hard work. Now, don't get me wrong, talent is a gift, and it can certainly open doors. But the problem is that as talent alone is not enough. Talent without integrity, without the ability to put in the hours, without the discipline to keep going when things get tough, talent can easily go to waste. As integrity, on the other hand, is the foundation of trust. It is what builds credibility over time. And as hard work is what ultimately makes those talents, ideas, and connections pay off. Let me take you back for a moment. Imagine a young person just starting out. Maybe they have incredible natural ability, a brilliant mind for numbers, or an uncanny instinct for spotting good business opportunities. But without as integrity, that person might quickly find themselves on a slippery slope. They might take shortcuts, make compromises that damage their reputation, or get tangled in the allure of instant gratification. Now picture the same individual, but this time they possess not only talent, but also integrity, a deep commitment to doing things the right way, even when no one is watching. Combine that integrity with ear's hard work, the willingness to put in the long hours, day after day, month after month, and now this person has a recipe for long-term success. This is the key, as success doesn't come overnight. It comes through the careful and patient application of integrity and effort. There's no magic shortcut to lasting wealth or prosperity. Desert hard work and integrity compound over time, just like a great investment. It grows steadily, it takes time, but it pays off more than you could ever imagine. Let's reflect on Da's integrity for a moment. Integrity is not just about being honest when it's convenient. It's about doing the right thing, even when the right thing is difficult or unpopular. It's about maintaining your values, regardless of the pressures of the moment. In business, your integrity is your currency. If you're known as someone who does what they say they will, someone who honors their commitments and keeps their promises, people will trust you. And trust is invaluable in the world of business and investing. Without it, you're just another player in a crowded market. I know that many of you listening right now have had moments where you've been tempted to take shortcuts. Maybe it was a deal that didn't quite feel right, or an opportunity that seemed too good to be true. The temptation to go for quick wins is strong, but it's always fleeting. In the long run, it's those who stay committed to doing things the right way, even when it's hard, who build empires. And this requires not just skill, but strength of character, And then there's their hard work, something we cannot underestimate. It's easy to think that success comes from the next big idea or the latest trend. But here's the truth. Dar's hard work will always beat talent when talent doesn't work hard. Talent can fade, or it can remain untapped without the right focus and effort. But when you pair talent with work ethic, you've created a force to be reckoned with. Hard work, of course, doesn't mean mindlessly grinding away, running in circles. It means smart work, or is consistently showing up day after day, making incremental improvements, learning from your mistakes, and evolving with time. It's about, staying disciplined, sticking to your strategy even when everyone around you is panicking or chasing after the next big thing. And yes, it can be tiring, but in the long run, this kind of work pays off. You might have heard the saying, success is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. I can tell you from experience that this is no exaggeration. The people who achieve real success in life, the ones who make it and make it big, are those who understand the value of consistent effort. They're the ones who are willing to put in the work when no one is watching, when it's hard, when it feels like progress is slow. Talent is a wonderful thing, but without the right character, without the willingness to push through adversity, it will eventually burn out. It will lose steam, and someone with a little less talent but a lot more drive will pass them by. I've seen it time and time again. The person who doesn't have the natural gifts but refuses to quit. The person who works tirelessly to hone their craft, to learn, to improve, to persevere, is the one who wins. I've met countless successful people. Serious people who have achieved things most others would only dream of. And while some of them might have had a natural knack for what they do, most of them worked as incredibly hard to get to where they are. They didn't rest on their laurels, and they didn't expect the world to hand them anything. They knew that true success was earned. They knew that it came from as relentless dedication. And so I urge you, never underestimate the power of a hard work and Oz integrity. These are the bedrock on which lasting success is built. When you pair them with the right mindset, the right focus, and the right discipline, you become unstoppable. Now, let me leave you with this. If you want to go fast, you can take shortcuts. But if you want to go far, if you want lasting success, real wealth, true happiness, then stay true to your values. Work diligently and never give up. Let the world chase after shortcuts. Or you stay committed to the long road, the road that's built with integrity and hard work. Dear family of dreamers, as we continue this conversation, I want you to think deeply about something we often overlook in today's fast-paced world: consistency. It's easy to get distracted by the flashing lights of instant success, the allure of quick riches, and the promise of shortcuts. But I'm here to tell you that true success is built on a foundation of consistent effort over time. The road to wealth and prosperity doesn't happen in bursts of excitement or fleeting moments of genius. It happens with consistent, disciplined action. You see, what separates those who achieve real, lasting success from those who flounder is not always talent, but the ability to stay focused and continue putting in the effort day after day, week after week, year after year. It's about showing up even when the rewards aren't immediate. It's about putting in the hours when you feel like you're not getting ahead. It's about delayed gratification, the ability to resist the temptation for short-term pleasure in favor of long-term growth. Let me ask you, have you ever been in a situation where you've worked tirelessly on something, only to see little to no results for a long time? Maybe you spent hours reading, researching, investing, learning. Maybe you've spent months, even years, building your business or career. But the success didn't come immediately. And there were times when you doubted if it was even worth it. That's the essence of delayed gratification. In today's world, we are constantly told to take advantage of opportunities right now. Hurry, don't miss out. It's the mentality of instant success, the get-rich-quick mindset. But those who are truly successful understand that true wealth is the result of persistent, long-term effort. The idea that you can make it big in a short period is alluring, but it is a dangerous illusion. In reality, the people who become truly wealthy and successful are the ones who have the patience to wait, to stay disciplined, and to stay on course, no matter how difficult it gets. They know that true success requires a long-term commitment, and they're willing to work tirelessly for the rewards that will come years down the line. Think of it like planting a seed. When you plant a seed, you don't expect to see a full-grown tree the next day. You water it, nurture it, and let it grow over time. You stay patient, knowing that your hard work will eventually bear fruit. Success works in much the same way. You build your skills, work on your craft, invest your money wisely, and remain disciplined through the ups and downs. And when the time is right, you'll reap the rewards of your patience and persistence. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned over the years is that there is no shortcut to success. There is no easy way to wealth. There is no magic formula. The key is to keep moving forward with consistency, even when the results aren't immediate. The key is to stay focused on your goals and to never stop working toward them. Now, I know that patience can be a challenge, especially when we live in a world that thrives on instant gratification. Social media, for example, gives us a constant stream of success stories, people achieving incredible things overnight. But the reality is that for every one of those stories, there are thousands more that didn't happen overnight. There's a long, hard path that leads to real success. You might be thinking, but isn't there an easier way? Isn't there a shortcut to success? The answer is no, not if you want to build something that lasts. Building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. And while it's tempting to chase after the quick wins, The people who truly succeed are the ones who are willing to embrace the slow and steady approach. The good news is that consistency and hard work will never betray you. Sure, the path will be long and at times discouraging, but as the fruits of your labor will eventually come, it's just a matter of staying the course. When I look back at my own life, the times when I achieved the most were not the times when I had some brilliant, groundbreaking idea. It was when I was simply persistent, when I stayed disciplined, and when I continued working even when things seemed uncertain. And over time, those small, steady actions compounded into significant results. Patience, persistence, and consistency, that's what it takes. And these are the values that as hard work and integrity are built upon. It's the long-term vision that matters most. You may not see the results right away, but if you stay focused, if you keep doing what you know is right, the rewards will come. So I encourage you today, don't give up when things seem hard. Don't lose faith when the results aren't immediate. Trust the process. Stay consistent, stay patient, and keep doing the work, because in the end, it's those who are willing to stay the course, to work day in and day out, to push through the inevitable challenges. Those are the ones who will see the greatest rewards. Dear family of dreamers, now that we've explored the importance of consistency and the necessity of long-term vision, let's turn our attention to something equally vital as integrity. We live in a world where shortcuts are often celebrated, where getting ahead quickly at any cost is seen as the ultimate goal. But when it comes to building lasting success, nothing matters more than doing the right thing. Integrity, in its truest form, is the cornerstone of not just wealth, but a meaningful and fulfilling life. Let me start with a story from my own life, one that teaches a profound lesson about doing business the right way. Many years ago, I had an opportunity to make a deal that, on the surface, looked incredibly lucrative. It seemed like a surefire way to make money, but something didn't feel right about it. There were aspects of the deal that didn't align with my values. There were parts of the agreement that, while not illegal, felt morally questionable. And at that moment, I had a choice. I could take the money and run, or I could walk away, knowing that the deal was not something I could fully stand behind. I chose to walk away. Now, let me be clear. It was the hardest decision I've ever had to make. The money I left on the table could have changed everything for me. It was an opportunity that many would have jumped at without hesitation. But in that moment, I realized that there is no amount of wealth worth sacrificing your integrity for. You see, integrity isn't just about doing the right thing when people are watching. It's about making the right decisions even when no one is looking. It's about building a foundation of trust, not just in business, but with yourself. In my experience, people who lack integrity, who cut corners, who lie, cheat, or deceive, may seem to succeed in the short term, but in the end, their actions catch up with them. Wealth built on dishonesty is never truly secure. It's unstable, and it doesn't stand the test of time. Eventually, the cracks will show, and everything will come crashing down. That's a harsh reality, but it's the truth. Whereas integrity, on the other hand, is the foundation that supports lasting success. It's the bedrock on which you can build a fortune and a reputation. It allows you to make deals and create opportunities with confidence, knowing that your word is your bond. And when you build wealth on a foundation of integrity, you have something far more valuable than just money. You have respect, trust, and credibility, all of which are irreplaceable. So, when you think about your path to financial success, ask yourself this question. What kind of wealth do you want to build? Do you want the kind that is fleeting, built on shortcuts and deceit? Or do you want the kind that lasts, that brings peace of mind, and that allows you to sleep soundly at night knowing you've earned every penny honestly? Let me tell you, there's no contest. Integrity is the secret to lasting wealth. It's the quiet force that propels you forward even when the world around you is driven by greed, by temptation, and by the urge for instant gratification. People will respect you, trust you, and ultimately choose to do business with you because they know that you are someone who stands by their word. And trust me, that kind of reputation is priceless. But integrity doesn't just serve your reputation in business, it serves your soul. It allows you to walk through life with your head held high, knowing that you are living in alignment with your values. And there is nothing more rewarding than that sense of inner peace, knowing that the wealth you're building, both financially and spiritually, is the product of us honesty, hard work, and ethical decision-making. I want you to take a moment right now and reflect on your own life. Sarah, how are you making your decisions? Are you making them based on what feels right, or are you compromising your values for the sake of convenience, profit, or success? It's an uncomfortable question to ask, but it's one that can change everything for you. Because errors when integrity guides your decisions. Wealth is the natural byproduct. But more importantly, it gives you something that money can't buy as peace of mind, self-respect, and the ability to look at yourself in the mirror without regret. And that, my friends, is a form of wealth that far exceeds anything material. Integrity is the backbone of all true success. You can have all the talent, all the brilliance, and all the ambition in the world, but without integrity, you will never build something that stands the test of time. I'll leave you with this thought: while your wealth is a reflection of your values. And if you want to build something that lasts, something that truly serves you and others, then you must build it on the unshakable foundation of integrity. Let's take a moment now as we close this part to really think about the choices we make in our lives. Are they grounded in integrity, or are we willing to sacrifice our core values for the sake of success? The right answer will lead you to lasting wealth, while the wrong answer will only leave you with fleeting gains and a deep sense of dissatisfaction. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your values. As and wealth, in every sense of the word, will follow. Beloved listeners, we've spent some time reflecting on the importance of consistency and integrity. But now, we arrive at one of the most timeless and yet often misunderstood virtues as hard work. Now, I know many people would expect me to say that talent is the key to success. After all, we live in a world that constantly celebrates brilliance, speed, and innovation. People love to talk about overnight success stories, about the one person who seemingly did nothing but snap their fingers and found fortune. But here's the thing, that's all an illusion. In the world of wealth creation, hard work is the great equalizer, as it's the one factor that anyone, no matter their background, can control. And in the long run, hard work, more than talent, will always win the race. Let's be clear about something: I am not against talent. Talent is important, but let's not kid ourselves. Talent alone won't make you wealthy. You might have the ability to play the piano like Mozart or analyze data like a genius, but unless you have the drive to back it up with relentless, purposeful effort, that talent will go to waste. Let me share a story that I hope will help put things into perspective. Years ago, I worked with a man who had a brilliant mind, truly exceptional. He was known for his sharp intellect, his ability to pick out patterns and make sense of complex ideas in ways that no one else could. But there was one major flaw in his approach. He wasn't willing to put in the work. He spent his time tinkering with ideas and theories, but when it came time to roll up his sleeves and actually execute, he faltered. Because execution requires effort, persistence, and an unshakable work ethic. It's easy to be smart. It's much harder to take that intelligence and turn it into something tangible. The unfortunate reality is that he never achieved the success he was capable of. He had all the ingredients for greatness, but he didn't have the hunger to back it up. He lacked the commitment to put in the long hours, to push through the tough times, and to see things through to completion. On the other hand, I've worked with people who had far fewer natural gifts, but possessed an incredible work ethic. They didn't give up when the going got tough. They didn't look for shortcuts or expect things to happen overnight. They kept working day after day, steadily improving, learning, and growing. And you know what? Those are the people who ended up making it big. Hard work is a silent force. It's not glamorous. It doesn't get the headlines or the applause. But it's the one thing that separates those who succeed from those who don't. I know that many of you listening have dreams of financial freedom, of creating wealth that will not only secure your future, but also provide for your family, your community, and maybe even leave a legacy for generations to come. But understand this, émissaires, there is no substitute for the effort it takes to achieve those dreams. I've often said that you need to outwork everyone. And I don't say that to boast. I say it because it's the truth. In the world of investing, business, and building wealth, Sirs, the most successful people are the ones who put in the hours when no one is watching. They're the ones who stay up late, wake up early, and never stop learning, improving, and taking action. When I was starting out, there were plenty of times when I had doubts. There were plenty of days when I wanted to take a break, to relax, to do something easier. But I had a vision, and that vision required me to work harder than anyone else. It demanded that I keep going no matter how difficult things got. You see, talent can only take you so far. It's your work ethic, your ability to persevere in the face of obstacles, and your willingness to outlast your competition that will determine your success. In the end, the person who works harder, smarter, and longer is the one who will come out on top. Here's the thing about hard work where it compounds over time. It might not pay off immediately. There may be times when you feel like you're putting in all this effort with little to show for it. But over the long haul, that's when you start to see the results. It's like planting seeds in a garden. At first, nothing seems to happen. But as time passes, those seeds begin to sprout, grow, and eventually bear fruit. And that's how wealth works. It's not an instant thing. It's the result of years of work, of compounding effort. Every day you put in, every hour of focus and dedication, adds up. And that's why I always say his talent is overrated. It's the ability to keep going when the going gets tough that makes all the difference. It's the consistent effort, the daily grind, that separates the successful from the unsuccessful. If you want to create real wealth, wealth that lasts, you must commit yourself to the work, even when it's hard, even when you want to give up. And most importantly, never lose sight of the long-term vision. Because in the end, the person who outworks everyone else will always come out ahead. So ask yourself, are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to show up every day, regardless of how you feel, regardless of how many obstacles get in your way? If you are, then success will be yours. But if you're looking for shortcuts, if you're waiting for things to come to you without putting in the effort, then you're in for a rude awakening. Because hard work, true, consistent, relentless hard work, is the real key to building lasting wealth, beloved listeners. Now, let's focus on a principle that is perhaps the most underappreciated in our fast-paced world of instant gratification and shortcuts: integrity. At this point, you may have heard me say this before, but I cannot stress it enough, as integrity is everything. Without integrity, all the talent, all the hard work in the world will eventually crumble. We live in a world where it's easy to cut corners, to take shortcuts, and to make compromises. But ours, the true foundation of long-term success, both in business and in life, is integrity. I've seen this principle play out time and time again. People who act with integrity, who treat others fairly, who hold themselves to a higher standard, they end up far better off than those who try to deceive, cheat, or manipulate their way to success. Honesty and trustworthiness may not always get you the quickest rewards, but they guarantee a foundation that lasts. Let me share with you a story that has always stuck with me. Years ago, I was involved in a business deal with a group of people. On paper, it was a fantastic opportunity, big returns, a great market, and a strong team. But as we went through the process, I started to notice small things that didn't add up. Some people were a little too eager to bypass certain regulations. Others were making promises that seemed far too good to be true. As tempting as it was to go along with it, the profits were huge after all. I chose to walk away. I chose integrity over instant success. And you know what? It was the best decision I ever made. In the years that followed, I saw many of those people fall, not because they didn't have the talent or the work ethic, but because they lacked integrity. They made compromises, took shortcuts, and lost the trust of their partners and clients. In the end, all their talent and hard work couldn't save them. Integrity may not bring you the fastest rewards, but it has built something far more valuable: trust, respect, and long-term success. The people who act with integrity are the ones who form lasting relationships, who attract loyal customers, and who ultimately build wealth that stands the test of time. I remember another time when I was presented with an opportunity that seemed too good to be true. It was a high-risk venture with the potential for high returns, but there were serious questions about its ethical implications. I could have made a quick profit, but instead I decided to take a step back and ask myself, is this the kind of success I want? In the end, I chose the path that aligned with my values, a path of integrity and trust. That decision paid off in ways I never could have imagined it. It wasn't always easy, and it certainly wasn't the fastest route. But over time, it led to a much more fulfilling and sustainable form of success. You see, success built on integrity is the kind that can weather any storm. It's the kind that lasts. And that's what we all should be striving for, a wealth that is not only measured in dollars, but in the respect, trust, and peace of mind that comes with knowing you've done things the right way. Integrity is about doing what's right, even when no one is looking. It's about keeping your promises, staying true to your word, and being honest in all your dealings. It's about having a moral compass that guides you, even when it's hard. And yes, it's often the harder path, but it's the path that leads to our true fulfillment. Think about it. When you look at the most successful and respected people in any field, what do they all have in common? Yes, they work hard. Yes, they are talented. But more than anything else, they have as integrity. They've built their success on a foundation of trust, honesty, and a relentless commitment to doing things the right way. And let me tell you, as that kind of wealth is priceless. It's wealth that can never be taken away. It's wealth that keeps giving back, not just to you, but to everyone around you. It's wealth that builds legacies, not just bank accounts. So, as you move forward in your financial journey, I urge you to keep integrity at the forefront of your decisions. Don't sacrifice it for short-term gain. Don't compromise it for a quick profit. Because in the long run, integrity is the only currency that truly matters. You might think that taking the high road is a luxury you can't afford. But trust me, the high road is where ours real wealth lies. It's where true success is built. And the beauty of it is this: if you have integrity, success will follow. It might take time, it might take hard work, but it will come. So ask yourself, Kazi, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Is it a legacy of quick fixes and shortcuts, or one of integrity, honesty, and lasting success? The choice is yours. But remember, success that is built on integrity is the only kind that truly lasts. Respected viewers, in the journey to financial success, one of the most powerful yet underrated tools is consistency. Consistency is not as flashy as innovation, nor does it carry the immediate excitement of a new breakthrough. But believe me, it is the secret ingredient to a sustainable wealth. There's a reason why successful investors often look like the most boring people on earth. They don't jump on every new fad, every hot trend. They simply focus on doing the same thing right, day in and day out, over and over again. Whether it's making wise investments, cultivating good habits, or building relationships, consistency wins every time. Let me tell you a story that perfectly illustrates this principle. A number of years ago, I had the privilege of watching two friends, two very talented individuals, begin their careers in the investment world. Both were smart, driven, and full of ambition. The first friend, let's call him John, was a whirlwind. He was always on the lookout for the next big thing. Every week, he'd tell me about a new investment opportunity, a new tech startup, a new idea that was going to change the world. He jumped in and out of markets, always seeking the next shortcut to wealth. The second friend, Peter, was a much different character. Peter didn't have the flashy ideas. He didn't chase the latest trends. But he had one thing John didn't have: as discipline. Peter chose a strategy of simple, steady investing in index funds. He didn't try to beat the market. He just invested consistently and let time work in his favor. There was no excitement, no fanfare. Just steady, reliable effort over a long period of time. Now here's where it gets interesting. Fast forward 10 years. John, the one who was chasing after every new opportunity, had burnt through a lot of his savings. He'd made some big wins, but even bigger losses. His strategy of constantly jumping from one thing to the next had left him exhausted, frustrated, and with a portfolio that was less impressive than he'd hoped. Peter, on the other hand, had seen his wealth grow steadily. It wasn't glamorous, but it was real. His portfolio had outperformed John Cesar, even though he didn't take the same risks. And Peter didn't get there by chance. He got there through these simple consistencies. This story might sound simple, but it's one of the core principles that I've always believed in, whereas the slow, steady path to success often yields the best results. John's approach was exciting, it was dynamic, it was flashy, but it lacked the most important ingredient: patience. He chased the idea of making it big, but in doing so, he missed the value of consistency, of putting in the work day in and day out. Peter's approach may have seemed dull in comparison, but it was built on a deep understanding that wealth is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's about taking small, smart steps over a long period of time and then letting the magic of compounding work its wonders. It's about us doing the right thing over and over again, even when it seems like there's no immediate reward. This is where the magic happens, because when you look back years later, you realize that those small, consistent steps have added up to something monumental. Wealth doesn't happen overnight. Wes, it's the result of consistent, thoughtful decisions made over time. And while everyone else is jumping from one trendy investment to another, the steady, disciplined investor reaps the rewards. You see, there's a fallacy in the idea that you need to be constantly doing something new, constantly finding the next big opportunity. The truth is, success comes when you stick with what works and let time do its work. This consistency is your secret weapon. Think about Warren Buffett for a moment, one of the most successful investors of all time, and yet he's not doing anything groundbreaking. He's not out there discovering new tech or investing in speculative stocks. He's simply investing consistently in solid businesses with long-term potential. It's the same strategy year after year. You see, it's the boring, everyday discipline of sticking to your principles that eventually makes the difference. If you consistently save, consistently invest wisely, consistently think long-term, you will see results. It might not be exciting, but in the end, the results will speak for themselves. When you look at the world's wealthiest individuals, you'll find that many of them didn't get rich overnight. They didn't do it by jumping into every trend or chasing every flashy opportunity. Instead, they got there by doing one thing consistently, making wise decisions and sticking to them over time. Now, I understand that in a world filled with instant gratification, the idea of their delayed success may not be all that appealing. We live in an age where everyone is looking for quick results, fast money, and instant fame. But let me remind you of something important. It's the road to true wealth is built on consistency, patience, and a willingness to endure setbacks. It's not always going to be easy. There will be moments of doubt. You'll wonder if you're making the right decisions. But I assure you, the real rewards come when you remain true to your course. Remember, wealth is not about getting lucky. It's not about timing the market or finding the next big thing. It's about showing up, doing the work, and sticking with it, no matter how long it takes. That's what will build the kind of wealth that lasts. So as you reflect on your own journey, ask yourself, am I willing to be consistent, even when it's hard? Am I willing to stick with my principles, even when the world is chasing after the next big thing? Because in the end, it's not the shortcuts that lead to lasting wealth. It's the steady, unglamorous work that you put in every single day. Consistency is not just a strategy. It's a lifestyle, a way of being. And if you embrace it, you will find that success comes to you, not because you were lucky or special, but because you were patient, diligent, and consistent. Beloved listeners, we've covered a lot in this journey. We've talked about discipline, consistency, and patience, and how those seemingly small decisions over time compound into great wealth. But there's one more ingredient in the recipe for true success, one that cannot be overlooked. There's integrity. What is integrity? It's doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. It's being honest in your dealings, transparent in your actions, and responsible in the choices you make. Integrity is what allows you to sleep soundly at night, knowing that you've acted in alignment with your values. It's the quality that separates those who build wealth in a sustainable, meaningful way from those who seek to get rich quick, no matter the cost. You see, a lot of people want to be wealthy. They want to chase the dream of financial freedom, the dream of living without limits. But far too many are willing to sacrifice their integrity to get there. They'll cut corners, make unethical decisions, and deceive others to achieve their goals. But here's the truth, is that kind of wealth is fleeting. It doesn't last us in the end. The price you pay for success without integrity is far too high. And the worst part is, you may not even realize it until it's too late. The business deals, the relationships, the trust that you break, they all have consequences. And those consequences can destroy the very wealth you sought to build. But when you choose to build your wealth with integrity, when you commit to doing what's right, even when it's difficult, you are building something that is built to last. You're creating a legacy that will survive you. You're building wealth that is rooted in honor, trust, and respect. Think of the richest people in the world. They didn't get there by breaking the rules or cutting corners. They got there by sticking to their values, by making ethical decisions, and by doing what's right even when it wasn't easy. A few years ago, I came across an interesting example of this. One of the most respected and successful investors in the world was sharing his wisdom with a group of younger investors. He talked about a time early in his career when he was presented with an investment opportunity that seemed too good to pass up. But as he dug deeper into the deal, he realized that something didn't sit right. The more he looked into it, the more it became clear that there was something dishonest about the way the deal was structured. There was money to be made, big money. But at what cost? He could have easily gone ahead with the deal, made the money, and walked away without anyone knowing. But he didn't. He walked away from that deal, even though it meant sacrificing a short-term gain. Why? Because he knew that integrity matters more than money. That decision was pivotal. It wasn't just about the money he turned down. It was about what that choice said about his character. He chose to protect his reputation, to build his wealth on a foundation of trust and respect. That decision, made years ago, became a cornerstone of his success. He went on to build an incredible wealth that has stood the test of time. And let me tell you something, guys. It's no coincidence that the people who have built the most wealth, the most lasting wealth, are those who have built it on integrity. Integrity is the foundation of everything. Without it, wealth is hollow. It's fragile. It's like a house built on sand. It will eventually crumble. When you maintain your integrity, when you stay true to your principles, you don't just build financial wealth. You build as personal wealth, a wealth of character, of relationships, of trust, and that is something that no one can take away from you. In the long run, it's this personal wealth, this sense of peace and fulfillment, that will matter far more than any number on your bank statement. It's the ability to look in the mirror and know that you've done things the right way. It's the satisfaction of knowing that your success wasn't just a result of smart investments, but of smart choices, of making decisions that honor your values and your integrity. So, as you move forward on your own financial journey, remember this: the money will come, the wealth will build, but yes, it's your integrity that will sustain it to do the right thing. Always. Even when it's hard, even when no one is watching. Because in the end, there's integrity is the one thing that will always matters. You might face temptation. You might feel the urge to take shortcuts or to cut corners. But if you remember one thing from today's conversation, let it be this: your character is worth more than your wealth. Wealth can be built, but character is what will keep it intact. And when you look at the people who are truly successful, you'll find that those who have the greatest wealth are those who understand this fundamental truth. They understand that wealth without integrity is not true wealth. 2. Beloved listeners, as we come to the end of this journey, I want to leave you with something that I hope will resonate with you long after this video ends. We've covered a lot of ground today, from discipline and consistency to patience and the power of integrity. We've explored why wealth isn't just about smart investing or seizing every opportunity, but about creating a life and a legacy that's built on the things that truly matter. But there's one final piece to this puzzle, one that ties everything together: is the long-term game. We often hear people talk about wealth in terms of quick wins, fast trades, or instant success. They talk about making it big overnight. But here's the truth: the path to true wealth is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's not about the shortcuts, the immediate gains, or the flashy investments. It's about staying the course, sticking to your principles, and never losing sight of your values, even when the world around you is focused on quick fixes. Life is a long game. Wealth is built over decades, not days. The decisions you make today may not pay off tomorrow, but over time, they will compound into something far greater than you ever imagined. Just like your investments, every action you take, every choice you make, has a cumulative effect. And that effect, when compounded over time, will define the trajectory of your life. There will be tough times. There will be moments of doubt, moments when things don't seem to be going your way. But it's in those moments that your discipline, your consistency, and your integrity will carry you through. Remember, success isn't about never failing. It's about staying committed to your values, to the long-term vision you have for yourself and your family, even when you face setbacks. You may feel discouraged at times when the results aren't as immediate as you'd like them to be. It's easy to look at someone else's success and feel like they're moving faster, doing better. But don't forget this, success is not a race. It's a personal journey, your journey. And if you commit to the process, commit to the long game, you will be rewarded in ways far more valuable than money alone. And when the results do come, and they will, you'll realize that it was never just about the wealth. It was about the wisdom you gained along the way, the person you became in the process. Wealth is simply a reflection of the choices you made, of the way you lived your life. So, as you look forward to your future, whether you're just starting out on your financial journey or you're already well along the path, remember that your integrity, your consistency, and your long-term vision are what will carry you to success. They are what will protect your wealth and keep it growing, even when the world changes. In the end, the greatest wealth you'll have is not in your bank account, but in your heart, in your character, and in your ability to make a difference in the world. I'll leave you with one final thought. Wealth isn't something that just happens. It's something you create with your actions, your choices, and your commitment to doing the right thing, no matter the cost. The true measure of success is not in how much you have, but in what you've built and the person you've become along the way. Thank you, dear family of dreamers, for joining me on this journey. Let's move forward together, committed to building wealth that lasts, not just in our finances, but in our hearts and minds. Respected viewers, your success is waiting for you. Stay the course, trust the process, and always choose integrity over everything else. May your journey to true wealth and fulfillment be long and fruitful. Take care, and remember, the best is yet to come.